the last part of this section, like I said, right, it's pretty difficult. This is a summary of all the graphs that represent in the polar coordinates. So we talked about these already, these lines. Let me get a little focus more. Okay. So these lines describe it. We talked about this one, right? R cosine theta is equal A, if a vertical, so forth, a line. And then we have a general one, y equals tangent AX is a curvature one. Okay, so these are straight lines. Underneath that, we have circles, which we talked about already, right? So we have x squared plus y squared equals a squared. If a is greater than 0, r is greater than a, we also have a circle. And all this does is give you some scenarios when it comes to those kind of stuff, right? And things like that. Okay. Now, these become a little bit more difficult at the bottom. So we have different types of graphs represented. So notice it's kind of funky now, right? Kind of looks like a heart. It shapes and rotate them, things like that. So this is the reason why I don't want you to graph them, because it gets pretty difficult, and then the shape is going to be tough as hell. But all I care about when it comes to this section is identifying which situation you're actually in. Okay, that's the main focus when it comes to it. So figure out, okay, what is A and B respectively, and then what it's going to look like. So is it going to be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, things like that. So that's what it represents. So these are the petal dances. So there's just slashes for petals. So like it says, roses with 3 petals, roses with 4 petals, you know, things like that. But again, they all represent based on some A and B value itself. Okay, so if you turn the page, that's essentially what you're going to be doing for these ones here. So all you're going to be doing is identifying what the A and B value is, and identifying what graph it actually is, or the name of the graph what actually is. Okay, so let's do the first one together. So the first one says r equals 3 minus 3 sine theta. Okay, all right. So it's our job to figure out what type of graph it's going to look like. Now, obviously, we already know it's not going to be a line, right? Because there's no theta equals, there's no r equals, right? It's just that portion, right? So we just have that. So not going to be the first line. It's not going to be lines. So then we go to circles. Well, unfortunately, the circles don't have a plus, right? It's going to be just, you know, plus or minus a value times that. So that's not going to work. Which means it's going to be one of these ones down here. Okay. So first ones, we have r equals a plus a. So here we have a being the same values, a and b being different values, and a, b different values. Okay. We don't have r squared, right? So we're not sure here. So it looks like, just looking how our template is, right? So we have a number minus the same number. We want to identify which one is going to be the same thing. Now, none of these have plus or minuses, right? It's just straight sine theta. And notice these ones have 2 theta, 3 theta, and 2 theta. So that's not what we have here, right? Just straight out theta. So it looks like just by, you know, looking at a portion, it's going to be one of these 3 on top here. Okay. Well, we can narrow down even more because, you know, this is A and B. These are 2 different numbers. Well, in our case, we have the exact same number, right? 3 and 3. So we need to figure out which one of these 3 have the exact same number, and it looks like this is the culprit. Okay. All right, so if that's the culprit, now we got to figure out, is it cosine or sine? Well, we know it's going to be A is greater than 0 because A is 3, right? So now we know. So now that we know which it's going to be, so we're just going to write down the name. It's going to be a Cartman. So this is a Hardonian graph. And now we identify the A and B associated. So our A value is going to be 3. And that's it. That's all you're going to do for the rest of them when it comes to it. So again, you're not actually going to graph them. You're just going to identify the A and B respectively and the theta if you need it, and also the graph itself. Okay. So let's try the next one here. So very similar, right? Notice, but this time A and B are different, right? 2 and 3 are different terms. So give you a hint, right? We already talked about that. It's probably going to be one of these 2 respectively. All right. So now here are the scenarios we actually have. So we have 0 is less than B, or 0 is greater than B, greater than A. All right. So so it looks like A is always in the front in both scenarios. So A in this case is 2, and B is -3, right, in our case. So now we have to identify which scenario we have here. So A is bigger than B. So that means we're here, right? A is bigger than B. So therefore we have this graph. So we're just going to call it a, so we're going to write the graph down. Let's see. Then a cone with inner loop, or without inner loop. And we identified A and B, and we're done. Okay, so why don't you guys try the rest when it comes to it? So, it's a lot more, just, that's it. That's all you do is identifying A and B, and then the actual graph would be. So try these out, and then try those out.